A brand new update has released for Minecraft Bedrock Edition, and it brings a huge new parity feature. 1.5 block tall sneaking is officially here on Bedrock Edition in Vanilla Survival. You can do this today as long as you update. We also have more news regarding other huge parity features such as crawling and the recipe unlocking for Minecraft Bedrock Edition as well, and just an absolute ton of bug fixes in 1.20.10, the newest Bedrock Edition update. So let's take a closer look at the short sneaking. Whenever you crouch now, you'll actually physically go down by half a block, and your camera moves significantly, as you can see, and this of course allows you to go under the top slabs, so you'll officially be a block and a half tall, and this allows you to just kind of sneak in here. Now, if you're underneath a space like this, you will automatically crouch. If you like fly in here, you'll auto crouch, and you don't need to hold any buttons, so I'm not touching the keyboard at all right now, and as soon as you leave this area, you'll automatically uncrouch as well. The other big parity feature that you're probably thinking about is crawling. Can you go underneath a trapdoor and close yourself in a composter? You can in 1.20.10. However, it's still an experimental mode, so as you can see, I've turned on the experimental mode for crawling. So this will probably be officially added in 1.20.20, the next update, which is probably going to be releasing in about a month or so. But if you really want to use crawling right now, you can, and it does actually work. And I have good news, they fixed Swift Sneak, so it does actually speed you up. Now you can go ahead and mine and dive mine in little tunnels, and it's great. Now, if you don't have Swift Sneak, it is just incredibly slow. It's like the actual crawling speed. It's actually slower than the dive mining that we had before, using water buckets and swimming. Another big feature that we've been keeping our eye on is the recipe unlocking. So whenever you break a piece of wood in a brand new world, for example, you're then going to unlock the plank recipe, for example. And then every time you get a new block in your inventory, you then unlock even more recipes. So this has been added in 1.20.10, but it is still behind an experimental toggle, of course. So if you scroll down, as you can see, you can turn this on using the experimental toggle, which is pretty fine to do in your survival worlds. It's just recipe unlocking. I don't think it's really going to break anything. So if you really want to play with this feature, you can turn it on right now. Otherwise, it'll probably be added in 1.20.20. So now that we have short sneaking, recipe unlocking, and dive mining on Bedrock Edition, what parity feature do you think is going to be coming next to Bedrock Edition? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, I'm hoping for the offhand, because I think that's coming soon. I really do think it's coming soon. Gotta love it when you find an accidental X-ray after being in an update for like, 10 seconds. Yeah, just snow layers on a block next to you. Good X-ray. Actually, it's kind of horrible. There's also been 3 big changes to common crafting recipes. So for instance, you no longer need a wooden shovel to make a boat in Bedrock Edition. After so many years, we can finally just have a regular boat with no stupid shovels in it. And the cobweb crafting recipe to string has also been removed. Previously, you could turn 1 cobweb into 9 string. And the previous crafting recipe for barrels using 6 sticks and some slabs on the top and bottom has also been changed. The sticks have been replaced with regular planks, so it's just barely slightly cheaper than a chest now, and this brings it in line with Java Edition. This has always been the recipe on Java Edition, and honestly, it makes more sense. So now on to some bug fixes and some changes in this update. This first one is a little bit hard to explain. The sounds that you hear in Minecraft are now based on your camera location. So right now we're in first person and we can hear that trident killer right there. If we go into third person, the camera is further away from it, so we can't actually hear that trident anymore. And then if we go into a second person, the noise is going to be on the left ear if you have like 3D sound or stereo sound, and that's because the sound is actually to the left of the camera. Previously it would be on the right because it was on the right of the player. And if we go back to first person, the sound is now moved to the right ear. So keep that new feature in mind when you are playing. Sounds are based on your camera location, and this does have a practical impact if you're someone who often plays in third person. There's been a nice update to the farmer villager. These guys can now pick up and plant torchflower seeds and pitcher pods. So you can now further automate your sniffer farms using allays and having them throw those items to a villager. And as you see, they are going to plant these things. However, they will not harvest them or pick up the fully grown, like, torch flowers or pitcher pods. I just showed this bug like 3 days ago, and it's already fixed! Mojang is out to get me, I swear. But previously, water in a cauldron would appear to be a slightly darker version of the lava, and that has now been fixed. There's been a slight change to the packed mud blocks. You can no longer mine them as fast with a shovel. As you can see, it's a really bad tool to use for this, but pickaxes can instant mine them, or in general, mine them faster. A tiny little feature that you probably forgot about is the fact that we have fallen trees in Bedrock Edition. So if you're in like a birch forest, for example, you can find one fallen over on its side. Just a tiny little feature, but now these can have mushrooms spawning on top of them. It seems like it's a pretty low chance. You know, I found about 5 of these, and this is the only one that I saw with a mushroom. And you know the deal, another Bedrock update, another dozen things that the skulk sensor can now detect. So here's a huge, giant list of new things that the skulk sensors can detect and activate from. And of course, there's also been a ton of other little micro fixes, bug changes, little tiny tweaks here and there that aren't really worth showing individually, and especially there's been a ton of technical updates that really only affect add-on creators, marketplace people, command junkies, most of which isn't really relevant to the everyday player, but there certainly is a lot of it. It just keeps going and going and going. Like, it's just, there's a ton of updates in this update, guys. I also found a couple bugs in this update literally within 10 seconds of firing it up. So if you are in creative mode and you're wearing an elytra and then you double tap to exit fly mode, you're automatically going to start up your elytra, whereas it should just take you out of fly mode and you should just fall down. And then as you're falling, you tap the jump button again, and then you activate your elytra. And if you're flying with elytra in creative mode and you try to double jump to exit flight mode, it just goes up, whereas it should take you out of flight mode like this. This bug was around a couple updates ago and fixed, but now it's back again. Another bug that's returned is the crouching placement issues. So like if I aim at the top of this, it places on the side, aim at the side, and it places on the top there. So the crouch aiming is still using the old crouching system where it thinks you're a little bit taller, and it hasn't been adjusted to actually short crouching. So that's why this bug is around. It was here a couple updates ago and removed, but now it's back again. As always, if you ever find a Minecraft bug, let me know in the comment section down below, or really anywhere, and it might be included in a future video. But if you enjoyed today's episode, then of course consider subscribing, drop a like as it helps out the video on the channel a ton. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys down in the comments and in the next one.